Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this one is a fun one. It's a community cast sent in by Sarmatian, and it's a great matchup. I love this matchup. I think it's a lot of fun, because it's basically, well, it's Skaven versus Dark Elves, sure. But Skaven are kind of seen as the worst faction for some reason. I think it's mostly the learning curve is crazy high. They're not a very sort of forgiving faction to play. You know, you can have your whole army all just break and you get overwhelmed and die. Right, that can happen if you're not prepared. But I think they're great, personally. But yeah, big learning curve, so they're seen as very much the underdog, or under-rat, I suppose, which I guess is one less than dog. I don't know. I guess it goes cat, then rat. I don't know. I don't know the order of I don't know the tier list for animals, okay? I haven't worked that out yet. But anyway, rats. They apparently suck, so we'll have to see. But against Dark Elves, who are seen as the best faction, pretty globally, I mean, they don't really have a bad matchup anywhere. They're pretty damn comfortable near the top of the list. So it's always interesting to see this matchup. So now that I've rambled already for like a minute, yeah, Night Runners. Night Runners in the front I think is a brilliant move, because you want them to be out in the front in case they're Sisters of Slaughter. Because Sisters of Slaughter will go down very quickly to things like this, but once they're in the front line, they will just hack through anything you throw at them. So having them in the front, I think, is very worthwhile. Also, you don't have to worry too much about being, you know, shot at by anything, because Dark Shards have really terrible range, so they're not really going to be a problem either. You know, you'll be able to react to that pretty happily. So, also, there's a load of Clan Rats. So, Clan Rats, nice, cheap and cheerful blockades, really. Again, you know, more Clan Rats, these with spears, so more just stuff to throw in the way. There's some Rat Ogres for some mass, and there's also Death Runners. Death Runners, brilliant with that, not even armor sundering, it's the Weeping Blade. It's 50% of the enemy's armor will disappear when these guys attack you, which is ludicrous. It's superb. I love them. Really good units, especially for sort of heavy cav and things. They will just drag them down so fast. So, more spears in the back. One of them only Skaven slave spears, but it's enough to put people off from, you know, trying to dive on top of these cannons. And yeah, there's two Warp Lightning cannon units here, which are very, very formidable in this matchup, because a lot of the big armoured stuff that these guys will be great at killing is quite slow for the Dark Elves. They have a lot of good flying units that are quite big targets. Things like Malekith on a dragon. Big risk, especially when you have a Warlock Engineer. So Howling Warp Gale, be able to just put, you know, big Warp Gale, I suppose, in place, and that flying unit is going to get stuck in it and get shot by cannons. So, beautiful combination. Also Skrulk, because, well, Skrulk's the best one. That's about it, really. But also, so much fodder and just cheap stuff. He's going for numbers here, and Skrulk is great for that, because he keeps summoning more and more things. So as things break, another unit replaces it. It's wonderful. So very, very nice. And Plague Monks can get some great work done in this matchup. They're very good at killing things like Dread Spears and stuff like that, and Bleak Swords. And they can actually get some really good damage into, you know, much better things, like Witch Elves, that will do a lot of damage in kind, but when it's a summoned unit, who cares? You know, you just want to get the damage in. So, his opponent, very Dark Elf army. He has a Dreadlord with a sword and crossbow, which I think is interesting. Like I said, you know, big, scary lord that you want to get in there and do a load of damage. Risky, because it's going to get Howling Warp Galed and then shot to pieces. So just go cheap and maneuverable. Something like a Dreadlord, really handy. And that crossbow, you can whittle away at heroes pretty well if you can get an in. So, not a bad idea. Also, Cold One Knights. I think this is an interesting choice, the Cold One Knights. You don't really need a huge amount of anti-large, but I guess it is great insurance against things like Doom Wheels, as well as being very good against Rat Ogres, so you can get some good work done with these guys. And a nice rear charge into Storm Vermin or something. They can get a lot of work done, but they are very slow, which makes them a very good target for artillery. So, over here you can see he has Witch Elves, and for the terror in his army, because you always want to bring some terror against the Skaven. He actually has the Sisters of Singing Doom. These guys will kill so much stuff if they can get into a fight with anyone. They just will hack through anything with low armor. Storm Vermin will sort of, you know, put them in their place, but there aren't any. So, yeah, these Witch Elves are both going to be very, very tough. Also, some Dark Shards. I mean, these guys, not a huge amount of, you know, strong armored targets to shoot at, but even Rat Ogres, they will go down very, very quickly to a few volleys from these Dark Shards. Also, again, great for dealing with things like Doom Wheels or the carts, you know, the Plague Furnace and such. Very, very handy to have. Also, Dread Spears, good melee defense. They'll be able to kill any, you know, the cheaper stuff. But Hargneth Executioners will be able to kill anything. You need dedicated armor piercing to deal with Hargneth Executioners, and there's only 2 units of Rat Ogres. It is going to be very, very atrocious and difficult to get rid of these Hargneth Executioners. There's a lot of scary things in here. Also, a Sorceress of Beasts, so Transformation of Kadon and Curse of Anrahir. So, summoning Manticores, which are great for sniping out Lords and Heroes, and just being a nuisance in the back line, getting on top of artillery pieces. They're a real threat. But also, Curse of Anrahir, just limiting everything's melee attack. Everything's going to get off scot-free. They'll be in combat, and they'll barely take any damage in kind, thanks to that. So, it is very scary. And more cold ones. So, speeding things up. So, yeah, a few shots have hit a few different things, but Sarmatian's still making his mind up. So here you can see a nice shot into here, some damage to the Hargned Executioners, some damage to the Sister Seeing Doom. Not bad, but he's going to start focusing on the Cavalry, because they're going to be a bit of a nuisance, but they're massive targets, really good cannon fodder here. This is wonderful. So you can see they've already taken some pretty significant damage, and the other cannon is going to be shooting at this unit, because yeah, he's kind of ignoring the Lord for now. The Lord can maneuver a bit too well, and Warp Lightning cannons, they're not as accurate as they once were. So you can see, yeah, they're getting some good hits now and again. I mean, that unit's really struggling. This one, not so much though. It's getting away pretty easily here. Anyway, Transformation of Kadon has come in. Suddenly, a big threat that can attack whatever it wants, and is kind of disposable, you know? It's a big expense to win some magic, but just ruining the formation, you know, harassing the line, getting units into awkward places, it lets the front line just murder everything nearby, and the back line's in disarray. You know, the back line, it needs to be in a nice order to be able to react to things, and it can't react to things if it's already being attacked by something. So suddenly, the front line, it's going to be a roadblock, but they're not going to be able to make any gains on it. It's not, you know, this stuff will keep things in place a little bit, so more powerful units can fire in, or rat ogres can pick their targets, or anything like that. No, they're too busy here dealing with the Manticore. And there's still a load of stuff flanking, so Sarmatian's pretty pinned here. You know, he can't really maneuver, he just has to let these guys get wiped out, and now the Dark Shards are in range, which is a real problem. That is a real problem. But over here you can see the, the Death Runners and the Rat Ogres, they've just murdered these Cold One Knights pretty happily, but the Death Runners have taken substantial damage from it, amazingly. And same thing's happening over there, but now that the Witch Elves are in here, this is terrible. This is terrible for the Death Runners, because the Witch Elves great against low armor targets and infantry. And with the Rampage, you can't escape them, so now the Death Runners have been caught, they're going to get hacked to pieces. They have no armor. They are not made for fighting dedicated anti-infantry like that. So this is bad. This is very bad. And now the Rat Ogres, I mean, they're well, they just hit really hard. Mostly armor piercing, which isn't going to help against Sister Seeing Doom. And, well, they have no armor either. So Sister Seeing Doom can do a lot of damage to them too. It's just bad. Witch Elves are great in this matchup. So here, another Feral Manticore has been summoned, and the first one hasn't even been dealt with. Luckily, though, you can see the Dreadlord has taken an astounding amount of damage, but the artillery is here, and the Dark Elf front line is here. Yeah, the back line is completely compromised. Yeah, I don't think these Clan Rat Spears are going to hold them up for long. No, not against 2 units of Hargned Executioners. That's something to bear in mind. 2 units of Hargned Executioners will beat Clan Rat Spears. I hope you're learning some things from this game. That's one thing to note down. So anyway, here, more Witch Elves getting the back line, being a real nuisance, but they are under attack by the Night Runners. The Night Runners are perfect for dealing with things like Witch Elves that just have no armor. They will just get melted under sustained fire from things like Night Runners. So here you can see the Rat Ogres are charging in, trying to deal with the Hargned Executioners. Unfortunately, the Plague Monks are already broken, and that means that the Dread Spears can now move in and get on top of these Rat Ogres, which is a real problem. You know, that anti-large, and you don't have to worry about any armor. And now all the Dark Shards are firing in, but luckily more summoned units have come in to try and halt these Dark Shards. At the very least, they're going to have to run away or something. They're going to have to adjust to this. But those Clan Rats don't last long, because now the Executioners have run in too, and it's pretty bad. Clan Rats, though, chasing these Dread Spears. Now, a lot of work is going into defending these Dark Shards, but these Dark Shards are putting in so much punishment. Over in the back, you see some very elite units. There's the Witch Elves here, the Hargned Executioners, more Witch Elves just surrounding everything. Skrolk is in the middle of this. He's rampaged, so he can't cast any spells. If he can't cast any spells or use his abilities, he is worthless. So this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Sarmatian has to let him out of here. He has to do something. So you can see Death Runners running in, and yeah, great against the Executioners, but terrible against the Witch Elves. This is a horrible combination. Absolutely disgusting. And here you can see the Warlock Engineer has been chased around by the Dreadlord for ages, just taking crossbow bolts. He can't really escape this anymore. This is tough. But, you know, the Dreadlord's taken a hell of a beating, so that's something. So, and here you can see the Feral Manticore chasing everything around. There's still one left. So these units all need to start running back in. Everything had run away, they can all come back in. But luckily the Witch Elves are suffering horribly against all of these Night Runners. So that is something. That is definitely something. But there's still a lot of them, and there's still some heavily armoured Harga Executioners, of which there's nothing here that can really deal with them. And a whole other unit that's pretty damn healthy. He only lost 3 models is coming into the fight too. Luckily the Rat Ogres are trying to hunt him down, because he has to try and regroup over here. He has no choice. He has to regroup and take out these expensive units while he can outnumber them. But right now it doesn't look like he can outnumber them because most of his army is running away. Here though you can see a Liber Bubonicus on the Dreadlord, and you'd think that would kill him, but no, somehow he survives this. It's pretty crazy that he survives this, but he takes a lot of damage indeed. So Rat Ogres, they are back again, but they get anywhere near those Dark Shards, they're going to die. Just one volley will wipe him out, and he can't run into the spears. That's a terrible idea too. So back here you can see Skrulk has managed to get away, and he is summoning rats as he goes, so it's not too bad. Here, combination of Plague Monks and the Rat Ogres is actually doing a hell of a lot of damage to these guys. You know, huge anti-armor from the Rat Ogres and huge anti-infantry from the Plague Monks. And with them surrounded, that is very bad for the Executioners. That's one unit that's going to get wiped out pretty quickly. But again, the Dark Shards are just this ever-present danger. They're getting so much work done, but that is a lot of Executioners dealt with, so that is something. Over here, Skrulk is still running away, but if he gets caught out, that could be the end of him. But the Sister Sing Doom, they are pretty weak now. They are pretty weak. Leadership, not looking great. So they're getting chased down, which is nice. A huge amount of attacks in the rear. You see the health is going to go down very quickly. Being able to negate most of their melee defense, these guys are going to hit, and they have no armor to overcome against the Sister Sing Doom. And an extra bit of missile fire for good measure. So that is another very vital unit taken care of by all of the units that have rallied. So now Skrulk is moving back in, everything is moving back in. Over here you can see the Harganet Executioners completely surrounded, Death Runners lowering their armor, which is gigantic. That is so vital. That is perfect use of Death Runners and just numbers. Just surround things. Negate everything you can. You know, if you attack in the rear, you're negating a ton of their melee defense, and the Death Runners can be helping everyone negate a ton of their armor. So, yep, just single this stuff out. That's the thing, you know. Had all the tools here, the Dark Elves, they had all the tools to be able to walk straight through that army. But as soon as things start overextending, a load of units rally and just surround it and wipe it out. That's the ever-present threat. You've got to be diligent. If you rout a load of units, don't keep chasing. You're never going to catch up to any Skaven units that are running away. Just return. Just bring your units back and let the Skaven fail to break you again. You know, you can just keep doing it. Just over and over again. Just reset the battlefield and do the battle again, knowing that each time it's going to be easier. Don't let your units run away like that. Because look at this. Shattered. I mean, all these expensive units are gone. Now it's just Dread Spears. I mean, okay, a couple of units are Harganet Executioners, but let's be honest, this isn't the biggest threat anymore. There's not a whole lot of them. Less than 1,000 health between them. Yeah, they're not going to last. So anyway, here you can see a ton of the Rats and Death Runners, everything just charging through. The Dreadlord gets shattered just from how scary everything is. And over here, while all these rats were surging forward, one of the artillery crews managed to get back online. And the Sorceress of Beast not able to shut it down while being chased off by Rat Ogres. Not a good look for that Sorceress of Beasts. Not a good look at all. And here, everything's trying to run away, but Dark Shards, they can't deal with this stuff in melee. And there's no way they can run away and kite. They're not quick enough. So they're getting shut down. And that is a win for the Rats. It looked terrible, but it wasn't. It went great. And this is the strength of Skaven. You know, just keep grabbing those things that are out of position. Have those layers. It forces people to, you know, have all these different roadblocks. Different units are going to get through those roadblocks at different paces. It separates the units. You know, it separates them from things that could help them out. And stuff can get singled out. Mostly by stuff that's already run away. But those roadblocks that they did fight off before, they end up coming in with the new help of the next few layers of, you know, the Skaven army. You can just surround stuff. So, divide and conquer. Okay, that's the way to do it. A lot of the time, you're dividing just by way of running away, screaming. That's the beauty of Skaven. It's hilarious. I mean, you hear this in, you know, military history, the sort of feigned retreats, you know. Guys, let's pretend we're terrified and run away, and it'll pull the enemy out of position. Well, Skaven do that without you even needing to bother telling them to, which is even better, because even the flags are, you know, telling everyone they're running away. It makes it look like you're winning, and so you tend to keep pushing, right? It's like, oh, they're running away, let's hit home this advantage. It's just not an advantage with Skaven. It isn't. No, you're just letting yourself get ambushed. It's very funny. So I love it. Absolutely love it. So, beautiful game there by Sarmatian, really well played. But man, it looked dire. It looked so bad. That front line just got slaughtered. You know, the Skaven just swept aside so easily. But they always come back. They always come back. So, Dulux, be vigilant. Okay? This is a great build, but you need to keep pulling back. You know, just once you get to that artillery, sit on top of it. Just regroup your lines. Sat on top of that artillery. Everything will keep coming back. The artillery will be gone, so they don't have anything with big punch. They can't get that stuff back online. And that's the main worry. You know, other than that, just sit tight and let your Dark Shards be in range of anything that might attack. You'll be fine. That's the way to do it. You know, you can't let your guys run away. Always regroup. Unless you got things like Salacious Harvesters or something, in which case they could just gobble up any fleeing units really happily, because, well, they're super quick, and if it does look they're going to get ambushed, they can run away, because they're super quick. That's kind of the only thing, you know. Or actually, Dark Riders, you know. Any cheap light cav, I mean, Salacious Harvesters and Doomfire Warlocks, they're not cheap, but they are so quick, and kill so quickly, that, yeah, you can basically let them work independently of the army, but, yeah. There wasn't really anything here that could do that role, so you have to regroup. Anyway, I've waffled on enough, I guess, but this'll do. So guys, if you enjoyed this, I certainly did. It was a lot of fun. I love seeing sort of Skaven just come back. I mean, it's just so Skaven. It is so Skaven. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.